there are diseases that doctors can't diagnose, problems, different situations. And when that happens, it's always spiritual. If they cannot diagnose it with all their instruments and all their great knowledge, if they can't figure out what it is always spiritual. It is usually a spirit of infirmity, which is, the word infirmity means sickness. So it's a spirit of sickness. And we're not going to talk about that too much today, but because I just don't have time because of the list of things I got to give you. But I will tell you this. For instance, you take a situation like epilepsy. The medicine for epilepsy, or the treatment for epilepsy, does not cure epilepsy. If you have epilepsy and they give you medicine, you will have to take that the rest of your life according to the doctors, right? It's that simple. It does not cure. It only causes parts of your brain not to be able to function so that, listen carefully, that spirit cannot make your body move that way. And if you don't take that medicine, that spirit, because all it does is it numbs, I'm using a very generic term, I'm sure a doctor would have a much better term for it, but it numbs the part of the body that would allow the effects to be seen. So it is not fixing anything, it is merely hiding the effects. Do you understand that? Now, I've dealt with this all over. We've dealt with epilepsy since we've been in ministry. I don't know of any particular case of epilepsy we've ever ministered to that wasn't healed. But it's also because we don't just say be healed. It is because we deal with the spirit. Amen. And there is a spirit. And people say, well, no, it's because of lesions in the brain. Yep, that a spirit caused. And they say, well, but it's, well, because we don't know what caused it, or we don't know, I know what caused it. Well, it's called a demon, right? It does not mean the person is demon possessed. Do you understand that? Okay? It means that that person is influenced by a demonic spirit. It generally has, especially epilepsy, has nothing to do with the person. Nothing to do with them. It has all to do with the enemy and what he's trying to do. That's why you tend to see, well, this would almost sound kind of ridiculous to say it this way. You almost always see epilepsy, pronounced epilepsy in children. But even when you see it in adults, guess what? They were children at one point. So it still goes through. And any time I see something that affects children predominantly, automatically I hate it and I know it's a devil. Automatically. Why? Because only a devil would attack an innocent child. Right? Only a devil is that cruel and that evil. And so I have no problem. Now, when I deal with children that have demonic influences or situations going on, then obviously I don't talk about devils and stuff to them, and I don't have to. Why? Because the devil knows it's a devil. I don't have to call. If I talk to you, I'm going to say, excuse me, human, excuse me. I don't have to do that. You know you're a human, right? So I don't have to call you a human. So if I talk to this thing that's bothering this person, I don't have to call it what it is, especially if it's a child, because I don't want to, children can have ideas, and it can scare them. And so we move away from that. So I a lot of times I'll just tell them, listen, I might get loud, I might sound kind of angry, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to what's bothering you, and when I get done, you're not going to be bothered anymore. And I explained that to him, and I said, so don't pay any attention to anything I'm saying, because I'm not talking to you, right? And so then whenever I deal with that thing, I tend to get loud, and sometimes I'll even leave the room. And I'll go to another room and deal with that thing in that child. Why? Because I don't have to be in the presence for them to be free. And that way I can get as loud as I want to and get as mean as I want to, and it's not going to scare the child. Amen? Amen. Why? Because God is that big. He can set somebody free from another room. Amen? All right. So